Hey, welcome to Graphic Policy Television, GPTV. I'm Brett. Out this week is the comic book history of professional wrestling. Now, if you are a fan of wrestling, that's history, old school wrestling, what goes on today, you need to get this graphic novel. It's published by 10 Speed Press and by Aubrey, Sitterson, and Chris Moreno. Obviously got a review copy on this one, and we always like to thank people for hooking us up with that. Thank you, 10 Speed Press. So, listen to me, brother. I used to watch wrestling way back in the day when it was Hulk Hogan, Andre the Giant, Randy Savage. That was like the height of it for me in the 1980s with the, considered what I still think is some of the best wrestlers that ever existed. I stopped watching in the early 90s and got back into it a little bit in high school and college, the WCW days and the Monday Night Raw Wars or Monday Night Wars. And I haven't really watched it since. I mean, it's been a good, over a decade, almost 20 years-ish, since I've watched wrestling really much at all. I know it's a whole new thing with tons of new superstars, people I really couldn't tell you much at all. And, that's totally okay. But what I think is really cool is to be able to go back and check out the history of this sport. And it is a sport. I mean, there you go, and you take some physical damage to it, and you entertain the people. This is sports entertainment, absolutely. What the team has done here is put together a thoroughly researched, really impressive graphic novel that takes you from the beginning of wrestling. We're talking before, it was a thing in the U.S. We're talking, like, old school Play-Doh, that sort of stuff. Like, really, what is the history of wrestling, and how did it go from there to what we know today? It covers everything and a lot, and I think any of these subjects could have been an entire graphic novel by itself. Now, this graphic novel is broken down into a bunch of chapters and sections. We got Carnival Origins and the early days, Gold Dust Trio, Becoming Entertainment, and National Wrestling Alliance, the masked men and women of Lucha Libre, All In the UK, Porusio, Strong Style, and King's Road, Golden Age, the Monday Night Wars, New Millennium, and some acknowledges and a nice index for you to go over. It really covers anything, and any of those chapters, or covers everything, and any of those chapters could be, seriously, a graphic novel by itself. So with that, nothing's really gone super in-depth. However, everything's touched upon, so you have a great idea as to the history of it, how it all connected, and how it flows from one thing into another. This is an amazing primer, amazing way to get into the history of wrestling, and I think it's a must-read for anyone interested in that. I couldn't tell you the history of wrestling. I know some of it, I've watched documentaries and stuff like that, so a lot of this kind of rings to me from my understanding of it, but, you gotta go trust the research and just kind of go with it. It really does cover a lot. If you want to learn about Lucha Libre, it's in there. If you want to learn about the Monday Night Wars, you've got that. If you want to learn about, the insanity that was WCW, you've got that, and why it failed. It really covers so much. The early years, the federations, the monopoly issues, just, yeah, it's a lot, and it goes through the personalities. I think maybe the only knock I have on the entire graphic novel is it throws so much at you, it's at times hard to keep up who's who and why they matter. Names are just thrown out there, and you have to do a really good job of keeping track of everyone. That's not a horrible thing, it's just a lot to go over, basically. Seriously, this is impressive. I mean, the index alone is 5 pages. Yeah, so it's good. The art is actually really cool. I kind of dig the style in that I think it emphasizes the entertainment factor of it. Maybe doing something a bit too serious would make the wrestling itself come off very, very serious. But with this style, it kind of reminds you that this is masked soap opera. It's entertainment. I dig it. And the other thing is, even with the style, you still can tell who's who. All the big characters, all the big names, and they're easy to recognize. So I didn't find any issue at all trying to find really good examples of that. There's no issues at all for me going through and figure out who's who. Like there you got on the bottom a whole bunch of wrestlers, and you can easily pick them out even if the names weren't there. So, you know, it's a definite kind of more cartoonish style, but I think it totally works in that it really, you know, it captures kind of the flavor and the fun of it all. So again, like this is in-depth, this is crazy, this is a solid read. If you're into the history of pro wrestling at all, professional wrestling, entertainment wrestling, go for it. Like this is, it's good. It's really good. Again, any of the graphic novels and numerous topics could be a graphic novel by itself, and I think it does an excellent job of getting you through and providing all the important information so that you can basically learn more. I mean, it really, it flows nicely. I think the early stuff with like the Goldust Trio and learning about how it really never was a real sport, and I thought was fascinating stuff I've never even heard of. The carnival stuff is really fascinating, and then kind of going through how like the consolidation happened and all the territories and all that. Really interesting. It's cool. I mean, if you love to get kind of behind the science scene stuff, this is a must. This is absolutely a must. Out now, go get it. You should be able to get this in comic shops. You know, hit up your comic shop. There is a link beneath this video. Put in your zip code. Tell you if your shop's near you. There's no shop, no problem. Do you have affiliate a link where you can go purchase their affiliate links, so you get a small percentage. Again, I want to thank 10 Speed Press for hooking us up with this review copy. We always appreciate it, and we like to be transparent as to what we get for free. And thank you for watching. That's appreciated as well. Now, if you're into comics, if you're into wrestling comics, like some of the other stuff that's coming out, you know, check us out every single day at graphicpolicy.com. We're on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, Tumblr, all at Graphic Policy. Keep it nice and consistent. So until next time, you know, work on your finishing move. Keep on reading comics. Keep it geeky. Hey, thanks for watching the previous video from Graphic Policy Television. Just by watching, you help support our site. Thank you so much. Now, if you're watching these videos, you probably care about geeky things like movies, television, comic books, toys, games, video games, you name it. You can go and subscribe right now to our YouTube channel to stay in touch and catch all the new videos, or check out our website at graphicpolicy.com. There's a nice link on this end of the video. But as always, thank you for watching. Keep on rocking and keep it geeky.